What do you think López Obrador means for an eventual NAFTA deal or no NAFTA deal?
You know, all of his comments suggest that AMLO, as he is known, is very much pro-NAFTA. I think he understands that Mexico needs NAFTA. But the reality is that now we are very much a few months ahead of the U.S. midterms. So we don't think that the U.S. political calendar really allows anything around NAFTA to happen until well into 2019. So as much as AMLO may want to solve NAFTA, I think ultimately it's going to be next year's business, not to mention that it most likely is still the decision of President Trump and the White House.
What is he going to try and do with respect to the economy? I mean, there are the fears that he might in some ways imitate Chavez in Venezuela, and we've seen what happened to that economy. Is he that or not?
You know, I think it's important to dispel the notion that AMLO is the next Hugo Chavez. I mean, let's remember he has executive experience. He was the mayor of Mexico City from 2000 to 2005. Actually quite pragmatic, left office with approval ratings north of 80%. So our base case is that he is populist, but far from being any sort of Hugo Chavez or Maduro, right? So it's not that the U.S. is going to have super left-wing administration. However, there's certainly a sense that he's focused on lifting out of poverty some of the disenfranchised Mexicans, so the south of the country, which means more spending. And of course, more spending, the question arises, how do you pay for that? Some of these plans talk about 5% of GDP in terms of spending on the elderly, on youth programs, freezing oil prices, building refineries, on and on and on. It's really a laundry list of spending plans, whereas the way you pay for that, the way he anticipates to pay for that, is from savings from anti-corruption initiatives. So a lot of intangibles, a lot of questions, and I think investors are duly worried about what does it mean for the Mexican economy. So a very solid starting point, but what's the direction of travel from here?
So based on AMLO's victory, Yacov, is Mexico a no-touch, or maybe it's another reason why it's a no-touch in your view?
I think it's really remains to be seen. We're watching for signals. As you mentioned, his inauguration is December 1st. So we're watching to see who's going to be in his cabinet, what are the actual measures. There's going to be a budget announced later in the year for 2019, so we'll see how prudent is the budget. Is there still fiscal discipline? So I'd say, we're cautious, but it remains to be seen. The problem is, in the meantime, we do anticipate further volatility in Mexican asset prices.
President Trump is speaking right now, and he says he just spoke with the president of Mexico, Yacov. How do you think that phone call went? Are these two going to they're both nationalists, right? I mean, despite all the negative stuff that's been said about Trump, understandably, by every single Mexican candidate, might these two actually get along?
Look, I'm sure the tone is going to be conciliatory, as we were saying, that it's really in AMLO's interest to have a good relationship with Trump, to ensure that NAFTA is resolved somehow next year. But at the end, I think a lot is going to depend on what happens with the U.S., what happens with sort of the trade wars that the U.S. is now waging on China, and where does NAFTA fit into that puzzle.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.